In 1955, one paycheck could buy a home, raise 6 children, and still leave a mother with enough breath to smile at the end of the day. Today, 2 incomes can barely keep the lights on, and parents are more exhausted than ever. So what changed? Was it the people or the world built around them? Let me tell you a story you won't forget. Oh, sweetheart, come sit by me. You see this old kitchen table? I used to sit at one just like it back in 1955, pencil in hand, figuring out how to stretch your grandpa's paycheck. And you know what? It stretched just fine. Your grandpa worked long hours, sure, but it was just one job. One. And with that, we paid for our little house, kept food on the table, and raised 6 noisy, hungry children. 6! I can still hear their footsteps running down the hallway. Now, don't get me wrong, we weren't rich, not even close. Our house had only 4 rooms. The boys shared one room, the girls another. Privacy? Oh, that was a luxury we didn't even think about. But it was ours. That mattered more than anything. Every month I'd sit down and divide that money carefully. Mortgage, groceries, a bit for clothes. And somehow it always worked. There was no fear of losing the house, no juggling 2 or 3 jobs, no paying strangers to watch the children. Back then, life felt steady. Predictable. You could breathe. I didn't need a career to survive, and I didn't feel trapped either. My work was right there in the home, cooking, cleaning, raising those children, and it was enough. Society was built in a way that made that life possible. Today, when I hear how hard it is for young families to even buy a home, I shake my head, not because you're doing anything wrong, but because the world itself has changed. We didn't have more strength than you. We just had a system that carried some of the weight for us. Now, let me tell you about our street. Oh, it wasn't just a place to live. It was a whole little world. Every afternoon, right after school, the front doors would swing open almost at the same time. It was like the whole neighborhood came alive in a single breath. Children poured out, laughing, shouting, chasing each other barefoot across the grass. I didn't have to arrange play dates or drive anyone anywhere. No calendars, no planning. They just went outside. From my kitchen window, I could see most of it. Little Tommy from next door riding his bike, Sarah skipping rope, my own boys trying to climb a tree they weren't supposed to. And the best part? I wasn't the only one watching. Mrs. Peterson across the street had her eye on them too. So did Mr. Jenkins down the block. If any child got into trouble, it didn't matter whose they were. Any adult would step in. A scolding from a neighbor carried just as much weight as one from me. We trusted each other like that. And the children? They learned to figure things out on their own. No one was hovering over them every second. They made up games, solved arguments, and looked after the younger ones. My oldest would take the little ones along, making sure they stayed safe enough. That street, it helped raise my children. I wasn't alone in it. None of us mothers were. These days, I hear parents talk about how they feel they can't take their eyes off their kids for even a minute. It sounds exhausting, honey, truly exhausting. Back then, the neighborhood itself carried some of that worry for us. It wasn't perfect, but it was a kind of togetherness I don't see much anymore. Oh, you young folks today, you carry so much on your shoulders, always trying to do more, be more, give more. It makes my heart ache a little. Back when my children were small, things were simpler. Not easier in every way, but simpler in what was expected of us. No one asked me how many activities my children were in, no charts on the wall tracking milestones or books telling me the right way to raise a child. We didn't have shelves full of toys or separate rooms for every little thing. What mattered was this: were the children fed? Were they clean? Did they mind their manners? If the answer was yes, then I was doing just fine. Our home was small, you know. The kitchen was everything. A place for cooking, homework, even folding laundry. One closet held more shoes than it should have, and socks. Oh, the never-ending pile of socks. I used to gather them in a basket and sort them at night, matching tiny pairs while the house finally grew quiet. The children shared rooms, shared toys, shared just about everything. And because of that, they learned to share life too. Patience, compromise, even a bit of kindness when they didn't feel like it. There wasn't this constant pressure to be perfect, no feeling like you were falling behind if you weren't doing it all. Good enough wasn't something to feel guilty about. It was the goal. And I think, in a quiet way, that made us lighter, less worried, more present. These days, it seems like everything is louder, faster, and heavier somehow. So many choices, so many expectations pulling you in different directions. But back then, with our simple days and modest home, we had something steady. And sometimes, steady is exactly what a family needs.
Now listen closely, dear, because this part might sound a little strange to you. In our time, everyone knew their role, not because we sat down and debated it, but because it was simply understood. Your grandpa, he was the provider. Every morning he'd put on his work clothes, kiss me on the cheek, and head out the door. He carried the weight of earning, of keeping that paycheck coming in. And me? My world was the home. I took care of the children, the meals, the laundry, the little things that keep a house from falling apart. From the outside, it might look small, but inside those walls, it was everything. There wasn't much confusion about who should do what. No long discussions, no quiet resentments about uneven responsibilities. The lines were already drawn. And because of that, life felt stable. We could plan ahead, not just for next week, but for years. We knew what tomorrow would look like, and the day after that. That kind of certainty, it settles your heart in a way that's hard to explain. Marriage, too, was seen differently. It wasn't something you stepped in and out of. It was meant to last, through hard days, through tired evenings, through raising all those children together. Did that mean everything was perfect? Oh, no, not at all. We had our disagreements, our struggles, but there was a sense that we were in it for the long haul. I never had to wonder if I was raising those children alone. Even when your grandpa was away at work, I knew we were a team. These days, I hear how hard it is just to negotiate everything. Who works, who stays home, who picks up the kids, who cooks dinner. It sounds tiring in a different kind of way. Back then, the structure was already there. It may have been rigid, yes, but it held us steady. And when you're raising a big family, steady can feel like a blessing. Oh, my dear, let me tell you something people often forget. We mothers didn't stay inside those homes all the time. No, no, we had our moments too. Small ones, maybe, but they meant the world to us. Every week, like clockwork, there'd be something. A church gathering, a ladies' circle, a neighbor hosting coffee in her living room. Nothing fancy, just a table, a pot of coffee, maybe a plate of homemade cake if someone had the time. And we'd go. No guilt, no complicated planning. You didn't need to hire a babysitter or schedule it weeks ahead. The children would be outside playing, or a neighbor would keep half an eye on them. We trusted each other that way. I remember those afternoons so clearly. The sound of laughter, the hum of conversation, the feeling of sitting down for a moment and not being needed every second. We'd talk about everything: recipes, school troubles, whose child climbed where they shouldn't have. Sometimes we shared worries, too, quietly over a warm cup. And you know what? You'd leave feeling lighter. It wasn't just social time. It was support. Real support, the kind that doesn't come from a book or a guide, but from another woman saying, "Oh, mine does that too." Those little gatherings reminded us that we weren't alone in it, that other mothers were walking the same road, facing the same long days and busy nights. These days, I hear how hard it is just to find time to meet a friend. Everything costs money, needs planning, or gets canceled because life is too full. But back then, those small, simple moments, they were built right into our lives. And I truly believe, dear, they helped keep us whole. Oh, my dear ones, when I look at your world today, I don't see weakness. I see weight. So much weight on your shoulders. You and your partner both work so hard, yet the money never seems to stretch the way it once did. Houses cost more than we could have ever imagined, and even then, they don't always feel within reach. Back in my day, a single paycheck could plant a family firmly in one place. Now, even two incomes can feel like they're just barely holding things together. And the children, oh, raising them has changed too. Where we once opened the front door and let the day unfold, you must plan everything. School, activities, playtime, it's all scheduled, organized, and supervised. Even a simple hour of freedom seems to come with worry attached. Childcare alone, I can hardly believe what it costs now. We never had to think about paying someone to watch the children. They had each other. They had the neighborhood. But you're asked to do it all. Earn, parent, manage, protect, often without the quiet help we once took for granted. And then there's the loneliness. Our streets were full during the day, doors open, voices calling, someone always nearby. But now I hear how neighbors barely know each other. Grandparents live far away. Communities, they don't gather like they used to. It leaves you carrying everything inside your own home, alone. Oh, my dear ones, I want you to understand something. Truly, it's not that raising children has become harder because parents have changed. It's harder because the world around you has changed. The support we once stood on, the neighbors, the rhythms, the shared responsibility, it's faded away piece by piece. So if it feels overwhelming sometimes, well, dear, it's because you're doing a job that was never meant to be done alone. Oh, my dear ones, now I've told you my story, but I want to hear yours. You who are raising children in today's America, how do you do it? Do you feel supported, or does it all fall on your shoulders? Do your children play outside with neighbors like mine did, or is everything planned, scheduled, and supervised? Tell me honestly, dear, do you think we lost something important along the way, or do you feel today's way is better for families? Write your thoughts in the comments, sweetheart. I'll be reading. And if this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, reshare it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more stories from the past and the lessons they still carry. You're not alone in this, even if it feels that way sometimes.